hammock. What else did we do? Walked through the beaches. Woke up every morning to roosters and howler monkeys and geckos on our ceiling, like on the outside. And apparently the geckos fight a lot because you would hear them jam back and forth and squeak and click, and then all of a sudden one of them would fall off the roof. It was really kind of cute. This was kind of a test for me to see, one, if I could get out of the country and make it alive. Two, to have an international vacation, which is the first vacation I've ever really had that's real, other than, like, you know, Chicago or Green Bay or 4th of July. And it was 8 days with nonstop contact and interaction and sleeping and hanging out with Tony, which I thought was very important because vacations, especially when you're dealing with money and foreign countries and languages and all that, can be a very stressful thing. And I thought it was a good test to see if we could deal with each other. Because if we can't deal with each other on an 8-day vacation, there's no way we're going to move forward in the relationship, no matter how much positive feelings or love or whatever there is. So, that being said, we made it without fighting, we made it without arguing, we had really good time. I mentioned the food, that was really, really good. I'm sorry, the food was great. Oh, okay, so, trip back was a little complicated. Got back to the airport, reversing our tracks, you know, a 45-minute ferry ride and a 2-hour drive and blah, blah, blah. Airport had 2 canceled flights and 2 overbooks, and since we were flying on standby, buddy passes, whatever you want to call them, we were bumped, which meant that we had to scramble to find another flight. Well, the next flight was full, and the next flight was full. The only flight that wasn't full was one that we'd have to pay for. So luckily, Tony and I had our iPhones. Tony was able to go on sidestep.com, find really cheap tickets on American Airlines, and we got back in under $200 or $250 a piece. Now, because of that, we had to add on a day to our trip. We had to, instead of going right from Costa Rica to Denver, we had to go to American Airlines hub, which was in Fort Worth. Well, apparently they had a layover in Fort Lauderdale. So we stopped in Fort Lauderdale, spent the night there. I got to hang out with Grant, who, those of you who don't know, I've been friends with for about 10 years now. Used to hang out with my friend Bob Cologne, but he was really cool. I called him from, or I texted him from Costa Rica saying, you know, or emailed him saying, you know, we're going to Fort Lauderdale. I have no idea what to do, where we're going, but we need a hotel and we need transportation. And like that, he was at the airport, he met us, he picked us up, he got us to a really cheap but nice hotel. He hung out with us, we had some beer, and then he drove us to the airport in the morning to pick up our connecting flight. So thank you very much, Grant. That was really awesome. I appreciate that. Spent a couple hours in Fort Worth or Houston or wherever, Dallas, and spent the night in Fort Lauderdale. Spent the afternoon in Denver, which was our final destination, and then I went home that night, being last night. I had to stop at Fluid just to see who was out, to get some sense of real America. Spend way too much money on a drink, which I really didn't because it's normal. But, so as it worked out, with the discount we got on the flights, the lodging, which was normal price for lodging, the food, which was included in the lodging per meal, like, you know, if you have lunch or breakfast or dinner, they charged you X amount of dollars, but they added it to your bill. All the beer we drank, which was, they call it Imperial. It's basically our Miller Lite, but it's really good, and I don't really like beer. Plus, all the little knickknacks we went shopping for, the taxis, all that kind of stuff we did, plus the activities, which they charge extra for, but that's how they actually make their money. All in all, total for 8 days, 7 nights in Costa Rica was under $800, which I think is amazing. It took a good portion of savings in order to do it, and it was more than I wanted to spend, but since I had the money and, you know, I needed to get home, I had to spend the extra money on the flight. So I'm sorry, Bill Gray, for that, because I had to spend a little bit of money I wanted to give to you. But everything's still on track. As far as Tony and I, we're doing really good, and I am 2 minutes over, so I don't know if I'm going to have to split this. So I think I'll just keep talking. No, I think I'll stop. I'll see if it works. If it doesn't, then I will break it up. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, Tony and I are really good. So, yeah.